it's a blue chip fund, and the kind of stocks that you're seeing are not blue chips. So then what you should try to do is you should try to remove that particular fund and replace it with another fund. You can put that 1 crore across 4 or 5 funds and then start doing monthly withdrawals. This monthly withdrawal is called as SWP. During your annual review, what is very important is you should understand whether the asset management company has changed its philosophy, whether the leadership has changed, whether the fund manager has changed his thought process. So in the last video, we talked about an important term called SCP, Systematic Churning Plan. So before I go into that, let's talk about few fundamentals, then we'll go to Systematic Churning Plan. The first thing is Systematic Investment Plan is a beautiful thing that you can do it provided your investment horizon is more than 10 years. So if you're going to follow something with discipline, if you're going to follow something with patience, and if you're going to follow something with focus for the next 10 years, that I'm talking about 2025 to 2035, any 10-year period, SIP is the best thing that you can try to do it. If you want to get the power of compounding in a much favorable way, and you want to also aggressively retire or aggressively create that corpus, you can also do something called step up SIP. What is step up SIP is, for example, I try to save 1,000 rupees per month, let's say in the year 2025. When I get 2026, exactly 12 months from now, what I'll try to do is, I will not save 1,000 rupees per month. Next, the following year, I'll save something called 1,100. What is that 100 extra? It's called, that's the step up SIP. So similarly, if I try to do 10% more, 10% more and 10% more, what will happen is my power of compounding will increase. So first thing is, for long-term goals, anything more than 10 years or something like that, SIP is best. The second thing is, step-up SIP will help you to get the power of compounding and reach a much bigger corpus through step-up SIP. This is the second. Then next thing that I generally talk about is called a systematic transfer plan. What is meant by systematic transfer plan? Now, not all of us are getting monthly salaries. For example, let's say I'm doing a contractual based work. So if I'm going to do a contractual based work, what will happen is the periodical payments I'll be getting. The periodical payments could be in thousands to lakhs. So when I get a periodical payment of thousands to lakhs, what I'll try to do it is I'll go and put the money in a liquid fund or in an overnight fund. And what I'll try to do it is over a period of 6 months or 10 months, I will try to switch it on a regular basis. It could be every Monday, or it could be every Wednesday, it could be every Friday, or it could be 1st of the month and 15th of the month, or it could be every 20th of the month, or every month 25th, or every month it's on your birthday. So obviously whatever is your birthday, for example, if it is 9th of the month, every 9th of the month we'll try to do this transfer. So we try to do that systematic transfer plan over a period of 6 months and 12 months. What happens is, any volatility that is going to happen will be captured by this, and then your average cost will also be either coming down or going up depending upon how the market direction is going. This I call it as systematic transfer plan. The next thing people generally do is called a systematic withdrawal plan. Once I have a very good corpus, let's say whether it is 25 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore and all, what people will try to do it is, instead of investing in real estate, because the rental yield is only 3%, so people will say can I go for a systematic withdrawal plan? So if you want to go for a systematic withdrawal plan, put this 1 crore in a, let's say, balanced advantage fund, or if you can take moderate risk, you can go for large and mid cap fund. If you can take a slightly more risk, you can go for a mid cap fund. If you're an aggressive investor, you can go for a small cap fund. You can also do a bucketing strategy. And then what you can try to do is you can put that 1 crore across 4 or 5 funds and then start doing monthly withdrawals. This monthly withdrawal is called as SWP. To simply put, what is SWP is, it is the opposite of SIP. SIP is called Systematic Investment Planning. SWP is called Systematic Withdrawal Planning, where you get it. So we always say it is called live and let live. So there is no point in in creating a big corpus without enjoying that money. So try to do SWP. But the whole topic of this today's session is called as SCP, which many people might not have taught to you. We will now discuss about SCP. SCP is called as Systematic Churning Plan. We generally say that if there are 45 mutual fund houses are there, typically we go with about 5 mutual fund houses. So out of the 45 fund houses, what we'll try to do is this 5 fund houses will be a combination of large mutual fund companies, medium-sized mutual fund companies and small mutual fund companies. Sir, why are you going to a small mutual fund company which is having only, let's say, 10,000 crores or 20,000 crores? As compared to a mutual fund company, AMC company, which is having 1 lakh crores or 2 lakh crores. The thing is, small will have a much better focus. For example, if you talk about IPL, let's say IPL, the kind of a small players, like, for example, in the last edition, Sudarshan did an exceptionally good job. Like, being an youngster, he did a great job. So that's how what we'll try to do it is, even when we select AMCs, we'll also select a combo of AMCs. So we give opportunities to those AMCs which are performing extremely well. So that is why we are giving this one. So you will be talking about 5 to 6 AMCs. Now let's assume that you're going to have a core portfolio and a satellite portfolio, and you're selecting, let's say, 5 AMCs for this and 5 AMCs for satellite and 5 for core. So totally you will be having 10 asset management companies. So out of 50 asset management companies, if you're going to select 10, which is only 20%. So applying the Pareto principle, I think you have done a great job of picking the right fund houses. It's called AMC, asset management company. Similarly, let's assume that, like, there are about, let's say, 1,500 schemes are there. Out of the 1,500 schemes, let's assume that you have chosen, let's say, 1 or 2 schemes per AMC. So you would have ended up with at least 10 funds or 15 funds. Now, during your annual review, what is very important is you should understand whether the asset management company has changed its philosophy, whether the leadership has changed, whether the fund manager has changed his thought process, whether the objective of the mutual fund and whether the portfolio construct are completely congruent. That means what I say and what I do are 100% in alignment. Those things you should check on an annual review. For example, they say, let's say it's a blue chip fund, and, like, the kind of stocks that you're seeing are not blue chips. So then what you should try to do it is you should try to remove that particular fund and replace it with another fund. Same thing with, let's say there are 10 asset management companies, and then you end up with, like, 1 or 2 asset management companies which is not in line with what your expectation are, because somebody has changed out. Then what you should do is you should remove that asset management company. Similarly, sometimes the fund manager also, they don't get tied up on the same fund house. Because of career opportunities, they also keep moving. When a particular fund manager moves from one asset management company to another asset management company, it's very important that you should also relook at your portfolio. And for example, if you are sitting on huge profit, either you should remove the profits or, like, you should try to do it. Sometimes you should also do a cut loss strategy. So systematic churning plan means, what it means is that is every year you take a look at all the holdings that you have, whether it in terms of asset management companies or in terms of categories. When I say categories, equity, it could be hybrid or it could be debt. Within equity, we talk about different types of equities: large and mid cap, small cap, only small cap, sector based. In hybrid, we talk about, let's say, normal balanced fund, a balanced advantage fund, multi-asset fund, aggressive fund, dynamic asset allocation fund. So we look at various categories. And similarly in debt, we have another 10 different categories for debt. So we go through all these things, and then we say that in your portfolio, considering your current financial situation, looking at, like, whether your job is going to be stable or not, whether you want to quit the job in another 1 or 2 years, we do the churning. It's called systematic churning plan. So my suggestion is that is, in addition to SIP, in addition to STP, in addition to step-up SIP, please learn the tricks of SCP and apply. It's not only tricks. Learn the principles of systematic churning plan and ensure that your hard-earned money works for you. Thank you. All investments that you're going to make are subject to market risks. So nothing comes without risks. For example, whether you are going to invest in real estate, that will come up with some certain risks. If you are going to invest in gold and silver, the prices are fluctuating like anything every day. That is also coming up with risk. If you're going to invest in direct equities, obviously, yes, it is going to have risks. Same thing with mutual funds. All investments are subject to market risks. Go through all the scheme related documents. Make a decision after going through all the documentation. And whenever you have doubt, you please reach out to us. Get your doubts clarified. Get complete clarity before making any investments.